asked me about how in the world did I ever get that chord. I won it from Johnny Smith in the crap game. So anyhow, we're just going to talk about guitar today. And I've got our good friend here. It's been donated from the Command Corporation. It's going to help me with a couple of our duets. When I go around the country giving these kind of talks, people like to know something about my background. He referred to me recently, just a few minutes ago, as the father of the guitar. I was quite complimented, but I want to tell you it was a hard birth. I thought I was going to have a cesarean to get the thing going. But anyhow, it's been a lot of fun. I got my first guitar on Christmas Day, 1926. I played my first job 3 weeks later, 1927, believe it or not. I learned about 10 chords, and I played my first job, which was a square dance out in the Ozarks. And it was so far out in the woods that they had to advertise the dance in the field and stream, and that's a fact. But anyhow, I got this little Stella guitar, and I wanted to know, this looks like it has possibilities. I'd like to learn how to play the thing. So I went down to the local music store, and I bought a 25-cent chord book called Joker's Chords. You might have remembered that. Published by Theodore Presser. I learned about 10 or 12 chords. I said there has to be more to it than that. So I went to St. Louis. I lived in a small town. And I got the Carcassonne method for the guitar. And I went home and I started figuring out how to play it from that. But playing the little Italian pieces and the little preludes was not my bag. I wanted to play the tunes of that era. You know, Yes Sir, That's My Baby, Ain't She Sweet, and all those good old tunes. I'm talking about the 20s. So I took up the tenor banjo so I could play in the orchestras. I decided that maybe melodies could be played on the guitar, but playing it, but we used to have the thumb and the finger picks to play the guitar. So I started experimenting with a mandolin pick. I said, nobody plays it with a straight pick. If I'm going to play melody, that's about the only way I can do it. And how am I going to find a book that's teaching me melody on the guitar? Couldn't find one because they just weren't written. I went back to St. Louis and started browsing through the music stores, and I found out, much to my dismay, that there's nothing written. However, clarinet, the fingering for clarinet, was exactly the same as the guitar. Now I have a clarinet fingering chart that I'll pass around. If you notice what's the lowest note on the clarinet and the highest note on the clarinet, the same as your guitar. So what did I do? I started playing out a clarinet book. I went through the Rubank method, the Merriman method, Close, and all the others. Now how could I work from the clarinet? Very simple. I had a clarinet player friend who was quite proficient. He'd play the passages so I could hear them and I'd go home and work them out. Some time ago in one of my workshops before the music educators, I was telling them the clarinet music is ideal for the guitar, for trios, quartets, and duets. Have the guitar players play out these clarinet duets, trios, and quartets, and it gives you a great source of material. One of the teachers said, I have a question, Mr. Bay. Well, suppose the clarinet player wants to play with them. I said, well, you tell that clarinet player to put a capo in his clarinet. So, anyhow, we got rid of that question. Now, I started playing quite a bit, melody on the guitar. Well, what happened? We were playing tenor banjo in the band, and I became a tenor banjo soloist, playing all the ragtime jazz and all that. But I still had my first love for the guitar. And I had quite a varied experience. When I was 15 years old, I played my banjo, tenor banjo, for a medicine show. Now that was an experience. I'd go to these small towns, Kentucky, Tennessee, in the wildest part of the country, sit on this Cadillac with a two big steer on it. That's why I never rode it in the parade. Because I had rode that on the parade and hit a bump, I'd be talking in a soprano voice again. But anyhow, I enjoyed that. Then later on, I played my guitar with a cowboy band, Hawaiian band. And when I got out of high school, I had to go into music because the banksman broke. We had no money. Here the guitar was being popularized by such people as Nick Lucas. He played very fine accompaniment behind his voice. And I was very impressed by a man named Eddie Lang. Now those people who never had the pleasure of hearing Eddie Lang would miss a real experience. You know what I'm talking about. He accompanied Bing Crosby on the Primo Cigar House. Now he and Joe Venuti got together and they made some of the greatest jazz records I ever heard. Well, that really convinced me at that time that the guitar was up and coming. So what happened, I would try to experiment with the guitar in the orchestra, and I fell flat. And I'll give you the reason why. So I stuck to the tenor banjo as long as I could in the orchestra. Because here you're playing in the band, you're playing chord like this. Is this thing on? Yes. Yeah. Nothing was coming out. So naturally I stuck to the guitar, to the tenor banjo. And I think that really bothered me was seeing all these tonal chord changes and not being able to make them on the guitar. Here, so I took up the piano. I would buy, we had no piano at home at that time, and I got piano books and started keyboard harmony. So I figured out that I could take the first four strings of the guitar are the chords, see? In other words, by playing this chord, make a minor 7, chord 5. You want to make a 7, 5, you know, or a 9, I can alter those. So what did I do? I started experimenting around. For instance, one day I was playing this chord, and diminishing the fifth, right there, and then playing the minor 7 chord, suspended chord, but I couldn't, when I got away from the first four strings, I couldn't do a thing. So one day it dawned on me, now this happened about 1930, it dawned on me if I took the first string and put it on the fourth, here, what did I discover? I discovered that I had all the tonal parts of the guitar. Root, third, fifth, and seventh. And I was getting a good sound, good basic sound. So then what happened? When I took this chord and made it diminish, I got this. Then I discovered, my goodness, I lowered the third. Now, I'm going to show you something else I discovered. That's why I have the blackboard. I discovered, by voicing my chords like that, this middle C of the piano, and I was covering this area in my rhythm. The right hand of the piano was generally playing this area, and the bass, this area, and the way the guitar was voiced, we were playing up here most of the time. So there was nothing filling this void. Now I found out by voicing my chords the way I just described, that we were filling this void. I'll give you a classic example. And I will draw this out on the board to show you what I mean. This is called the Mel Bay chord system. A piano player was auditioning for, an orchestra leader was auditioning for a guitar player. In those days, the bands would come through with 12 musicians and a guitar player. That's how they were been, you know. Half the time they weren't given parts. They were fake. I think this was either Bud Waples or Stan Dougherty, that's who it was. Well, I said, I'm going to try out some of your guitar players. We need a guitar player. I guess you all know Two for Two. Yeah, we know Two for Two. Okay, you play it. This guy comes up. I'm not hiring a tambourine player, I'm looking for some rhythm. 2 or 3 other people came along, he said, okay, baby, try it out, let's see what you can do. I said, okay, let's start. That's the sound I want. Now you can take that chord system and get that sound and get that beat. That's what I proposed. And that chord system has been the most successful system used in the orchestra. For the simple fact that when this fellow was playing these chords, see what I mean? Between the different systems. Any chord in music without switching chords. Another thing too, when you're reading all these various chord changes, I challenge anyone to play a bar chord or any chord and make those changes. If the piano player can make those chord changes by raising or lowering one tone, why can't the guitarist? Until I created this system, it was impossible. Now I'm going to show you on the blackboard how easy it works out. Now we have that book. It's called the Rhythm Chord System. Now for years, the pros would want to learn that system, and I would give them the back part of this book, summary for reference. You take one chord, and you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 chords in one formation without changing your position or without changing your tone chord. Does that make sense? Now, I'm going to I just want to take one. Now I'll show you how we create from the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. I was telling him I was talking to Chet Atkins some time ago, and I wanted to cruise from the Selmer Company. He said, well, I hope that what happens to you, what happened to him, did not happen to me. Chet was on this boat with John Loudermilk, the man who wrote When in One, which I have published one of my books. Walking around the boat, he saw this old gentleman playing his guitar. And Chet said that this old gentleman was playing one of his recordings, When in One. And he said, you played pretty good, old chap. And the old man said, thank you. You played? Chet said, yes, I played. So Chet picked up the guitar and played his own recorded version of that song, handed the guitar back to the fellow. And the fellow said, you played pretty good, old chap. He said, young man, you played very good. However, you're no Chet Atkins. So, now, how many are teachers? How many are players? Good. Have you ever studied fingerboard harmony? You don't have to if you know the rules. In other words, you'll see a book, 5,000 chords. We put out a book with 5,000 chords. Did you ever try to learn a foreign language by picking up a dictionary? That's what you're doing. It's impossible for anyone to memorize 5,000 chords and use them in everyday play. But what you have to do is create your chords as you're playing. You know what I mean? And I go back to the old thumb and bar days. Now I'm going to show you how easy it is by not memorizing a chord. You're not to memorize a chord at all, the rule. Now, I know right here that this is the C7 chord. Now we're going to deaden this string and then this string. Why am I going to deaden it? Because there's no sense in repeating a chordal tone, because this tone is here, and this tone here will be on this string. This gives you a perfect tone balance in your chord. Now we're going to make our first chordal change. You're playing a C7, and you want to play a C minor 7. That's very simple. All I have to know in my mind to make a minor 7, all I do is lower the third of that chord. Not memorize a complete new form. If you have a notebook, I'd appreciate you take these down. So you flat the third. Now how do we do it with this system? We'll move this down here. Bring it over here with the first finger. Now I have C minor 7. Getting the same power, the same punch, the same tone. Now, the next chord, using the third, is a substitution for the 11th chord. Now people sound, man, this guy's talking right out of the sky. But an 11th chord has 5 tones. No, it has 6 tones. First, third, fifth, 7th, 9th, and 11th. But most of the time, it's used as, we use a chord called the suspended fourth. C7, sus, fourth. You see that all the time. Well, that's a big sounding chord. Well, let me show you how easy that chord is made. So we'll go back to our third. Now we're going to come up here. See? So it's very simply done, so you just change the thing a little bit, but you get here, 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 and here, and you get this sound. Now, a suspended chord is a very popular chord. In other words, here's a... See that suspended chord? Listen to this with the minor seven. Now you see this make that minor seven? The suspended. This is a cheaper two. That's what it is. Now, I'm just going to go through all the chords with the one form and show you how easy it is to get the other. Now, let's clear the blackboard a little bit. All right, root, third, fifth.
I'd like to have everybody's attention for just a moment. Sorry to interrupt your sessions at this time, but just hope that everybody's enjoying themselves at the Music Expo, and like to take a couple minutes to remind you not to miss the educational media display, and it's in rooms 112 and 117. It's just a little bit off the beaten path, but you want to make sure that you go there because it is an enormous selection of books, records, and tapes and music that you can purchase today and take with you. There's music of Mel Bay, Jamie Aebersold, and all other major publishers in the United States. So please don't miss this. People have put in a lot of work to set it up for you, and I think you will enjoy shopping. Have a nice day. Keep enjoying yourself.
Right. Now the next statement. The next total change for this chord we're going to find is the diminished fifth and augmented fifth, which is very important, and I'll show you how they're used. All right, you often see this sign, C7. That means diminished. C7, diminished fifth. Now here's your fifth right here. You got the chord, and you know by diminishing your flatter, so you come down here with this note. And you're still holding the same chord. Now, another chord, C7 plus 5. Now, you don't have to memorize a new chord. You go with the fifth this, so you bring it up here, which I'll demonstrate. Now, what's the purpose of the diminished fifth? I'll show you. It's to lead you from one seventh passage into another chord. It's a step down. It's the one tone that jumps a whole step. So if you want to make a smooth transition, see what I mean? See how easy that was? I'll do that again. In other words, you can play on the band, play every chord right along with the piano player. Not miss a beat, get the same punch. And it's wonderful to get a smile from a piano player, especially if you're a guitar player. You'll test that. In fact, I played, I substituted a week for the opera for a show. California Dolan, and the pianist, the director came over and said, I never heard a guy play a guitar like a piano. This is it. Now to get the augmented fifth, and Now, the next very popular chord that we're going to get is the same formation of chords. I'm really getting used to the taste of water. Now, let's go into a chord known as the sixth chord, C, sixth. Well, the C6 is a substitution for a major chord. Now, the harmony teachers and the straight-laced fellows know all you do, you take a major chord, and that is sixth. That's fine. But I've got a far easier way of getting it. What we're going to do is not take a major chord, and that is sixth. We're just going to lower the seventh tone down to here. In other words, here. 7, 6. And here's the sound you get. Is a substitution for the D major chord. Yes, that's rather than play the D major. And getting a minor sixth, you lower the third. See how easy that is? See how easy that is without memorizing a chord from one of those dictionaries. Now, I will just go ahead and quickly show you how to do that without giving the sound. Now the minor sixth, after you hold that, you lower that third again. And now, we will come into the ninth chords. All right, the ninth chord, which does not pose you any problems, because all we're going to do is eliminate the root and add the ninth. Right here. Why aren't you including the root? You don't need it. You've got the bass player playing it, and you have the piano player playing it. You've got the basic, most important chords. So now you alter your chords the same way as I showed you for the seventh. Minor ninth, 11th chord, major ninth by raising the seventh, diminished ninth by lowering the ninth. And one more thing I want to show you. One of the most important chords that you'll play is the diminished chord. Now you make a diminished chord by holding the root. It's called diminished because you bring it together. You hold the root of the seventh chord and bring all of the notes together. Look at this. See? I held the root and lowered everything else. Why can't I do it on this? Because I used to go like this. Listen. Now the ninth chord. Now with here's the type of thing you will get. Now for instance, that major ninth. Here's your ninth. Now the major ninth by raising seven. Now you talk about chord substitutions. You can do a world of things. Listen to this. Instead of playing the D major chord, and I have a book on chord substitutions. See what I mean? For instance, you take a tune like this. You can go. The seventh chord and make every chord in music. Now people ask me about a lot of the other chords. Anything is that. Now do you have any questions? You have it.
No, I like the way you got to that diminished chord from that seventh. Though. It's pretty nice. I never seen that.
That's the way a piano player would do it. See?
The fingering is really unique. Some economy of motion there. That's great.
Yes, sir.
have to keep the root and the bass. So this particular form,
Well, depending on what you're playing, you know. But when I'm talking about orchestral and band playing. And believe me, the bands are coming back. They're coming back. And the trouble is, they're having a difficult time finding guitar players. We have a lot of people who are in the rock image and the country image, but we're not developing any orchestral players. I know all the colleges have lab bands are using this system, and I'm doing most of my workshops now in schools where they're having lab bands. In fact, I did a workshop for the college jazz band thing at the Chase Hotel in St. Louis quite some time ago, and this was what they're trying to find out. How can I get what the old boys used to do years ago? Now I'd like to talk to you about a few other things, and then I want to give you some little tips on teaching. Now, in this book, one more thing I'll show you. Now, the voicing of your chords, your major chords, has been a real bugaboo. I'll just take a short discourse here on the major and the minor chords. I generally play this chord. I always use a substitute. This chord here, I use a substitute. I use a substitute of 6. See? If you're going to play this chord, eliminate the first string. Now, for instance, this chord here. I've seen guys play this chord like that. You don't play the third form of the major and include the first string. Just eliminate the fifth string. See what I mean? This is a chord here that's an abomination. We're not going to play that chord like that. We're going to play it like this. Why? Because listen. 7. But all it is this chord. Now you just get the position. See how simple that system works out? It took me a year or so to experiment, just what I wanted on that. But that was the system that really put the guitar in the orchestra. Now, so much on the rhythm system. Now, a lot of us, we have enough books teaching you how to play the melody, all the styles. But a big problem, I have a lot of people that say, I'd like to play melody chord style, but playing it off the, how am I going to learn to play melody chord style? I'm sorry I didn't know how to book. But the best way to play melody chord style is off the piano. Now, how are you going to do that? The first thing you're going to do is have to learn actual pitch. What's actual pitch? All right, actual pitch is very simple. This note on your piano is your open first string. You take our book called Melody Chord System for the guitar. If you open that Melody Chord System for the guitar, well, if you go through that book, you'll be able to take this actual pitch and play right off the piano music by using the melody line of the chord symbols. Yes. Now, those that are teaching, whatever you do, try to give your students as much counterpoint as possible. Now, whenever I see a student coming in to take lessons, I've given up teaching quite some time ago, First thing I do, I notice how they hold the guitar. And I can see why a lot of kids call their guitar an axe. Because that's the way you hold an axe. That's not the way to hold a guitar. The way to hold a guitar is to get that child, put that guitar down and lift it with his hands, and you notice how he's going to lift it like this. Well, naturally, if he's going to play that guitar, he's going to keep his hand underneath it. In other words, I have a very small hand. That's why I made my own design on the D'Angelica guitar. Because of the fact that if I held my hand like that, I couldn't do a thing. But look what you can do, you know. You follow me? Like the violin, cello. It's a string instrument. Give your hand plenty of room to work. And you will have pressure. You won't be coming in from the side, deadening half the tone, playing a loud tone, but you'll be playing with a clear tone. In other words, teach that kid how to play the guitar by holding it correctly. Number 2. Is my friend here? I have all of our instruction books, every other piece, every other page has a duet. Now, when the teachers accompany these kids, with straight chords, you're crutching them. Now, I have seen children come in who can't play with a hoot, and they find out that the teacher's playing a melody right along with them. Anytime you're playing straight rhythm, you're not helping that child out, you're crutching him along. Now, counterpoint is the greatest thing that was ever created for music. And I have used all of my duets in contrapuntal form. The simple fact that I want these kids to play and play correctly, because once you're having to read, and you're in an orchestra, or a group, and you're playing your part, you got other parts going other directions, you're going to really be in bad trouble unless you know how to really read and hold your mind to it. Now, we will play page in our book. Incidentally, this is a picture of my D'Angelica, Mel Bay model. That's my grandson, and this is our 6th millionth copy, as it says on the book. That's a lot of pictures. Now, no, I'll take this. We'll show you how these duets sound. And I've written them to give them real tone and color. Now what I do, what I recommend in my workshop to the teacher, when the student can play the lead line, the student plays the lead line first time, and the student plays the lead line in the second part, second time. Now, I'll tell you some of the things that happens to musicians. Show you how far behind the times. I had a group come in and wanted a picture. Take it with me. I go outside, take a picture with them. They gave me their album. I said to the boys in the store, who are these guys? I don't even know who they are. They said, I don't know, but they call themselves the Who. They said, the Who? Don't you know who that? No, I don't. Then another group came in and wanted a picture taken. So I said, I don't know who they are, but they call themselves the Eagles. Then the other day, they said, Mel, come down, but come down slowly. Now, I heard that Elvis was alive, running around. I walked from my office down to the store. And here was Elvis, all dressed up and stuff. This is the guy who goes around the country imitating Elvis. So that's the kind of stuff I put up with. I was playing with Roy Schmidt. Now, that was a great name. You ever heard that name?
Sure.
Roy Schmidt was a great instrumentalist. I did a lot of playing with Roy. One time Roy and I were playing for the American Guild of Music in Schenectady, New York. And the MC was so imbued, having the great Roy Smack. Boy, Mr. Smack, am I going to give you a good send-off. Roy said, now listen, I've got three great guys. We had Ed Shaughnessy on drums. Who's the bass player that the Federal Rogers? Oh, Andy Nelson on bass. Did you know Andy?
No, no other than
Well, yeah, you know, Shaughnessy, he's on the Tonight Show. But anyhow, myself on guitar, I'm going to give you a real send-off. He said, no, just introduce me, Roy Smack, the Wizard of the Strange and his Trio. That's all I want. Well, that night, he was what I call smashed. He was so stiff we thought he didn't drink any starch. But anyhow, our cameraman like that. I'll give you the name of my writer. But anyhow, he said, ladies and gentlemen, we got a next you won't believe. What a pleasure to present to you tonight Roy Schmick, the Gizzard on Bass. Okay, let's try it. Are we in tune?
I hope so.
That's good now. As I told him a while ago, I've been playing for 63 years, but I spent 13 just tuning up. So let's try it. Follow the leader. What do you want to do, the first part?
Sure, that's fine.
Go ahead,
I'll
that's
play.
good. Just another not playing the chord, it wouldn't help him at all. This way you got to count. Let's go to another one. Hey, you read wonderfully well. I'm going to put you at the head of the class here.
I got the book last night. So.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you what, on page 11, now we give, of course, the first all those things and all that, and my books have theory as you go along. So not only are these kids learning how to read, how to play, but they're giving you theory of the thing. Page 11. Playtime. How's that sound?
Okay.
Let's try that. Now the guitar in counterpoint is a beautiful instrument. As I said before, it sounds good with two clarinets too. All right, let's go.
1, 2.
Next part.
Next part?
Count and concentrate to play that, because this second part will mix them up. That's the purpose. One more, and I'm enjoying playing with this guy here. He's really great. Let's see here. I think we'll let that ride on. But how'd that sound to you, folks?
Great.
All right. Now this is beginning stuff. Well, that's all, yes.
Are those your own compositions, or are they from?
No, I've taken them from violin duets, and some of them are my original things. But the first two we played were from the Plow and Matz's violin duets. And I've transcribed. Because when I compiled my course of 7 books, and incidentally, this was the course used for the GI programs. I took the music from all clarinet, piano, violin, flute, and all the instruments. In fact, when I used to teach, I had filing cabinets after filing cabinets for music. And I transcribed and put this. Now, 1946, I got a job teaching with Myron Florin and some of the top, in fact, he's the accordionist with Lawrence Welk. We were teaching in the music college in St. Louis, all the veterans. And I had a program that was used. And I was writing out all the music. So, to get this program out so other people could use it, I decided I'd have it published. Well, I got a cold shoulder to publish. I published it myself. And that's when we started our publishing company. I went all over the country selling it, showing it to the teachers, and became the most accepted. As I said before, this one book alone sold over 6 million copies. And I don't know how many millions this has sold. I wrote over 200 books for myself and the New York and Hollywood publishers. I don't know how many books, but I'd say it's approximately that many. My wife will tell me how many books. How many books now do we have in our catalog?
I really don't know. I thought it
I'll
was.
say pretty close to 3,000
Yeah.
for all instruments and everything. And our plant covers almost a full acre. We have, as you said, about 50 employees out there, and we have dealers all over the world. So it's a household name. I can't think of anything. I'm open to a couple of questions if you people are open. Any questions? I was speaking to George. We were talking about, yes.
Oh, sorry. I thought the first part was really interesting. It was the first part. I came in kind of late. I know that there are other easily modifiable chord forms. There's 2 of them that I have in mind that are in other just different forms, and you can also modify them easily to move the 9th and the 5th and 7th.
That's right, sure.
Do you have a book that has a summary of all those easily movable chord forms?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
You know, what's
Sure, but they're great for solo or individual work. Yes, we have those, yes. But this is a rhythm chord system that it's so badly and needed. But as I say, this was a system so widely used for many years. And the orchestral players, as this gentleman here will attest right here, it's got to be used because you've got to have a gut bass following. You can't, another thing too is killing the guitar players. They like to flip all over, and they like to do a lot of single string notes and all that. They're not giving a beat. The idea is when you're playing in the group, when you play a solo, that's one thing. But man, when you're playing a beat, give it a beat. You're not going to give it a beat. You're only a chord unless you've got a system. Now I'll tell you about a lot of I know practically all the top players by the first name because I'm associated with my publishing company. People always ask me who I think is the greatest jazz guitar player in the country. Well, it depends on what you like. My 2 favorites, of course, are Johnny Smith and Joe Pass. Johnny's my fishing buddy. He tunes the guitar, the D down there. He plays everything in that pitch. I was talking to Joe Pass some time ago, and he said, you know, it's a shame now that I'm rated as the greatest, but yet I'm still playing joints. That's unfortunate, it's true. But he rates very high. Tommy Tedesco, we have some wonderful, wonderful writers performing for us. I have the top players in the world on my staff, as he will attest. In the classic field, I have Michael Ormore, and Aaron Shearer has just left Melbourne and come to my company. I have his books on here. So there's not a field that we don't cover in our catalog. I have many thousands of dollars invested in very, very high quality music. It's slow in sale because there's so few people can play it. And someday they will. George Van Epps and I were doing a talk show on one of the radio stations. And I like rock. It's good for everything. Everybody has it, certainly keeping the kids busy. He asked George about rock music. He said, well, it's loud. And he said, to give you an idea how loud it was, he said, Mel and I were in a joint at Huntington Beach recently, and the music was so loud we couldn't hear ourselves talk, so we invited the boys to come down to have a drink with us. They're real nice and quiet. So we're quiet, you hear a pin drop, we're enjoying our conversation. All of a sudden, here comes a waitress with a tremendous tray of dishes, stumbles and falls, and then everybody gets up and starts dancing again. Well, I'm going to close up. It's coming on. Here's a little thing I'm doing. I just did for the Christmas song. So. Play something for us.
All right, let me find the right thumb pick here. I want to mention, a lot of people ask me, because I do a lot of country artists in my arrangements, and believe it or not, Mel Bay is probably the only person that has the publications on material, especially in the fingerstyle stuff. He's published a great many household words and some people that aren't household names that are just real fine players to begin with. But he did a Merle Travis book a while back. I'll play a little tune by Merle Travis. A lot of people don't know who he is, but he said it was the guy that influenced Chet Atkins. And I'll talk more about this a little later. But you're the first book that I know of ever being published.
Well, I'll tell you how over again. Tommy Flint is one of my greatest writers. Now, I get submitted tons of material. One day, a little fellow walked in and said, I'm Tommy Flint. I write country music for the guitar. Could I play for you? I said, well, sure, come on up and play. And he just gassed me. I said, can you write it? He said, yes, I can. I said, please do it. I said, tell me about your background. Well, first of all, I'm Merle Travis's grandson.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, that's what he got. I said, I hear so much Travis in there. And I hear so much of the, I used to listen to all those guys years ago, but play something.
I heard a little thing called the Cannonball Wreck. I had the pleasure of meeting not only Merle Travis when I was about 14, I also met his son, and he goes by a different name too. I can't even know. Oh, Tom Brash. He plays a lot of this. In fact, that's his daddy's guitar. I didn't know about Tommy Flint. I just saw him in Nashville. Yeah, I didn't know he's the that's kind of.
Well, he's a nephew. I'm sorry.
Is that what his nephew?
Yeah.
Anyway, here we go. A little thing called the Cannonball Wreck. Have you ever listened to a group called Yes?
a rock group, you'll hear a great guitarist by the name of Steve Howe. He plays a tune very similar to this. This is where he's kind of got it from. What I'm doing here is playing the bass line and melody at the same time. It's the illusion of two guitars at once. A little difficult run here. But you can do it. All these shapes I've done are in those books he was talking about. Here's one right now. Here's some open string chords contained in the Mel Travis book. Let me know what these chords were if I have a chance to sing them. Rhythm formation. I threw that in for free. That's where all those single string exercises come in handy. Some bass lines. Make it all there. A sweet lick. It's indeed a pleasure to play
Yeah,
guitar.
I'll tell you, I'm glad I played first. You know, I'll tell you a favorite story that said, he always tuned his guitar up, then he would go this. He said one day his old man said, Chet, for God's sake, I'm so sick and tired of hearing that chord. You play, that's all I hear all day long. He said, why don't you play like Doc Watson? I'm very fine gentleman here. These fellows play all the guitar all day long. They play all over it, and you just... He said, well, I'll tell you how it is, Dad. Those guys are looking for it, but I found it. It was a pleasure. We have a nice display of our publications upstairs.
How are you doing, buddy? I'll have a little time to have high on it.
Alright,
Sure.
Yeah, I keep it.
Oh.
I forgot to see.
Oh, I'm doing a clinic about Dave Darcy. Come on in. You got any questions? You know, are you doing some solo guitar work?
A little bit.
I might be around 30 years. Oh, so many things. Almost all this stuff. When I got called, I said, you know,
What a pleasure.
it was great. I could play the real piano guitar. I don't think it's that bad.
I want to again thank you for coming and helping.
Okay, let's get a photo later.
What an artist.
Oh, it's all because of your books. Oh, really? Yeah, I've been typing in my hand. It's scary.
Okay.
Kids like me do that, they're not a whole lot.
I should have put the card. Any of my books. Sing this. I'll go there out.